Yep. Yep, we are.
Okay. All right. So sorry about the technical difficulties, but we back. We was just kind of we was just talking more about college and just like what's how Dion has changed the culture. But before I get off of the FAMU situation in Jackson State, I did want to mention that the city of Jackson, Mississippi, does not have like sustainable water right now. And they've already mentioned like, hey, is Jackson State even gonna be able to continue their season because the city of Jackson is in a really tough situation.
With
And
the
so I just
floods,
feel,
right?
yeah,
Hmm.
and it's just like, golly, and it's like I hate that for the city of Jackson, and I hope that everything works for them and they can get everything straightened out because I remember when Dion came and somebody broke into his car and different stuff happened. It was just like, hey, it is somewhere that's that has a rough nickname, and it's things happen. So I'm glad that the team and they've been packing the stadium can bring a sense of pride to them. But I just hope things get figured out because obviously getting things straight in the city is more important than the season. But from what I know, they are playing against FAMU this weekend. Should be a good game to check out. I think it's on ESPN. No, it is on ESPN two. When I read the article,
Hmm.
it's on ESPN two. I want to say Prairie View and TSU, the Labor Day Classic. That's on ESPN Plus. So I appreciate them. And the last before we move on to anything else, Alabama State beat Howard in the SWAC MEAC Challenge, and I don't even want to
Yeah.
get into how long it's been. They broke a long MEAC win streak, so I'm hoping if I can get 3 or 4 in a row where we win the MEAC Challenge and the Celebration Bowl, I'm good because it's been ugly. It's been ugly.
I still want to see how HBCUs play against other FCS schools.
I want that too.
I want them to get in that playoff tournament at the end of the season, and let's see how far you can go. I mean, they got some juggernauts over there, but hey, you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and
Yeah,
that one juggernaut, North Dakota, my, Sam Houston is good. I want to see
Sam
PV
Houston.
play Sam Houston, and
Yeah,
I think we did play Sam Houston one
I
time.
know we have previously, but it's something to strive for. Like obviously, you want to play. I feel like that's not a bad consolation if they can get to the point like last year. FAMU played in the playoffs and they lost in the first round in the FCS playoffs. If you're not, obviously, we know the season is pushed and it's the classic in New Orleans. They have that classic, and so that classic is that game or is that Thanksgiving weekend, and then the next weekend is the SWAC championship. So if you're not playing in the SWAC championship, if you're third, I would love to see the conference be at a place to where, hey, our third place team that didn't qualify for the to be in the championship can go off, whether it be a FAMU, whether it be an Alcorn, whether it be a Prairie View, whether it be a Southern, if they were to lose out or a Grambling. I would love for those schools and anybody in the SWAC to be able to go off in the FCS playoffs as a third place team in the conference with maybe like one loss. Go ahead, hey, you go in the playoffs, you win a game or two. That's gonna be a development. But like I told you, I mentioned it before. I was in a chat room of Spaces, and it was just like the offensive line play has to step up. Like you have to get those guys. And I want to say through NIL, that's not going to be probably the avenue that the HBCUs can take strongly. But what they can do is they can, with the transfer rule, they can say, hey, if you got a little bit of eligibility left, if you want a guaranteed spot, you want to get some games on, on ESPN two, you're going to get televised, you're going to get some exposure, and if they're a good enough player, if they're already in that spotlight, as far as hey, they're going to invite it to a Senior Bowl, they're going to invite it to a Shrine game. They're going to get it. They're going to invite it to different things. They're going to invite it. You can pull that player in and you can help them, and they can get exposure, tape, and you can get exposure by hey, this person is tied to your name because plenty of guys like Joe Burrow. That credit does not go to Ohio State. It goes to LSU because that's where he went last. So if we can get some more guys like that and just get that profile up, I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Yeah, but I just real quick. I mean, I know you mentioned like for potential third place teams that goes to that tournament. I mean, I don't know. That's like I don't know how good of a showing if we do that. I mean, I think we need to send like you know the SWAC, MEAC division winners. conference
See,
winners over there because those. I mean, you gonna put. We don't play in that tournament regularly, if
yeah.
at all, and you put the. Let me see. What's up, Steve? Look at your question real quick. How do you feel about expanding playoffs and lower? Now, are you talking about in college football or NFL football?
I'm thinking he's talking about NFL football. I mean
Okay.
college. It
But
sounds like
in college football, with the 'cause they got the whole college football playoff and stuff like that. I personally like it how it is now because right now, besides NFL, because NFL still do, or maybe because the NFL is just so big, you can get over a loss, but because the fan base is just so rabid in the NFL, they live and die off of every game.
yeah,
College football though is legit. Every game in the regular season matters. Every game in the regular season. I mean, you put super stress on the team to go undefeated, and if
yeah.
they lose one game, dominoes have to fall in place just so they can get another chance, to make the playoff. I
Like
know it's only
yeah.
4 teams, but I just like the fact because right now that's you got the NBA. That's something they've been battling. MLB they just have too many games, so I like the fact. And the same thing with college basketball. They don't, they got a March Madness, so they have to worry about going undefeated. I just like the fact that the college football they put the stress on the regular season. So I like
Yeah.
it personally where it's at because it lets every regular season game count.
Army V, I appreciate the love, man. I really appreciate that. So you're gonna be watching them Grambling football games. Hey man, I'm probably taking my little brother. He's a junior in high school. I'm probably taking him to the State Fair Classic. I took him to my little cousin. She plays volleyball for Wiley. And he got that experience, and he was like, "Oh man, I might have to put Wiley on my list. He ready to run to Wiley." So I said, "Hey, if you like that,
Over there,
I'm gonna take
Marshall.
you to State Fair Classic." Yeah, I said, "I'm gonna take you to that." I was like, "You really gonna like that?" I said, "So just wait on it." But man, I'm with you. The only problem is with the history that Southern and Grambling have of playing that, and not just playing it, but playing it in the Superdome and it being on NBC. No ESPN2, no ESPN Plus, no knock to those channels. The Battle of the Bands, the history of that, you can't move that. That's like asking them to move the Iron Bowl. Because I know at
Yeah.
one time the Iron Bowl was at a neutral, or better yet, since they don't play at a neutral site anymore, that's like moving Texas, Oklahoma, the Red River Shootout, and moving it to home and home, and not having it at 12. Like that game is played at 11 a.m. our time, 12 p.m. Eastern. That's just a staple. So it would be tough to get the teams into the playoff. Now, as far as expanding it, Sonny, I'm almost with you where I don't want expansion. I don't want expansion to 12 teams. I can take 8. My only problem is when you look at the matchups, you basically get one good college football playoff game a year because the level of
Yeah.
talent is so greater. Like I know it wasn't a blowout, but the amount of talent that was on the field, Clemson and LSU, that was an obscene amount of talent on both sides. Like AJ Terrell is a second team all pro corner. He was getting torched in that game. He was getting absolutely torched by 2 guys that are all pro caliber receivers. And I want to say that's 2. I want to say Thaddeus Thomas, he had a cup of tea in the league, Randy Moss's son. Just so much talent everywhere on both sides of the ball because it's all hoarded. Like if you look at it, Ohio State, they might as well call it a playoff at this point. The Ohio State, the Clemson,
Yeah.
Georgia, and of course the Bama.
Well, it's usually between Georgia and Oklahoma
Yeah,
because Georgia has a hard time getting past Alabama. They finally did it, so that got them there, but Alabama was right behind them. So they finally got over the Alabama hump last season because they were still sweating because Alabama beat them in the regular season, and they were still sweating because I think Alabama beat them 7 straight times.
7 straight. Okay, Steven, as far as even in the playing field, it's always been that way. is as far as on the Power 5 level, it's always been the same couple of teams get guys. What you are going to see with NIL, and if you notice it, read the tea leaves. Nick Saban was speaking about it, and when he speaks on something, his words have power. Like, he was trying to change the rules about the up-tempo offenses. He couldn't get it changed because it was hurting his big defensive lineman. He started running it. So Alabama their people have bags, but they don't have the type of bags that other schools have. Because what you do is you get schools that rise to prominence because of their boosters. If your school gets a billionaire that went to your school and he's passionate about sports, it's going to pour money into it. Now, that money can only get you so far at times because one of the richest people in the world, Phil Knight, he's brought Oregon to the forefront. But he still got left when USC, who leads that conference, left and went to the Big Ten. So the money was looked at as, hey, it can do what it does. It can't help you, but I don't think there's any way you stop completely those top teams from separating. Because before Alabama was Alabama, there was USC. There was USC. There was the other school. There was Georgia. Always got talent. Texas was doing things at that time. Oklahoma was still moving at that time. You have teams that are always going to be the dominant players, but probably the only thing to level out the playing field is that, and I don't want to say I was listening to Monty Jones, it was a while back. He was naming the players that went to Bama, and they were from like California. They were like from Northern California, Southern. Like Najee Harris is from the Bay Area. Yeah. Bryce Young is from California. Hey, bro, they're not supposed to be running up into Cali and getting Cali guys. USC got to keep them home. Miami has to become prevalent. Texas has to become, solid. You have to be able to keep guys where these programs are winning between 9. At the low end, you winning 8 games in a bad year. Good year, you winning 10 or 11. If you get those guys and keep them home and recruit nationally, that neutralizes Bama to where they have to go fight through the SEC, where it's just like Georgia's in the house. Well, not Tennessee anymore, but Georgia, LSU is there, Florida's there. When you get that, then you'll get more balance. NIL will straighten it out because Texas has had a tough time finding quarterbacks. NIL comes and magically they get a 5-star recruit that comes from Ohio State that was originally committed to Texas. The NIL will lessen something. Like, if you get those rosters, coaches don't want to put out depth charts. Because if you see that young guy is not starting, I'm gone. I'm not playing. Some coaches in his ear, hey, I got a starting spot for you over here. And that's why you see guys leave and get into the portal. And it's like, oh, he made his decision that fast? Like Jordan Addison went on the Dog and Pony show. He knew he was going to USC, but he had to put on the show. And that's the only way you're going to get even, because it's always been dog eat dog. They've always been, we're going to get the top level guys, and, you're going to have to deal with it. And, now you don't have as much of it, but when you see that Georgia team, I heard they said an NFL executive said you'll never see that much talent on the NFL defense because of free agency and the draft. In the draft, you only have a couple of picks. You only have one first rounder. Yeah. They had Jordan Davis. They had Nakobe Dean, who went later. I mean, they had the number 1 overall pick. I forget his name, Walker. They had the big defensive end that was athletic and they had a ridiculous defense, and they got more guys coming. So. And it's like, as far as college, it's crazy. I'm excited about it. Like, I want to see, Prairie View play, and on the Power 5 level, I want to see what Texas does. But it's kind of like in the betting world, they know, hey man, it's Bama. This is Bama's year. There's nobody in Bama's way. I appreciate that, bro. There's nobody in Bama's way to kind of. Only thing I think that could be in their way is like Ohio State, because Ohio State had some young defenders last year, and they had to get their defense together. And I know they got the quarterback. Stroud is like a hell of a guy. Oh, I love the portal. Steve, I
think the portal is good.
I love it.
Gives a taste of free agency, basically.
It's free agency, but I love it because it's happening, Shawnee. I can promise this kid. They will tell you, hey, man, pick the school, not the coach. But you're a 17-year-old is a human being. I'm about to go. Well, he's I don't want to use him because he had controversy or whatever. But we'll just use, and I'm tired of using Saban. So let's just use Pete Carroll. I know he got into some trouble, but not big stuff. All right, Pete Carroll is at your school. He's coming, talking to you. He's going to get you to come and commit. He commits. He come, but now your coach gone. And then he didn't go to the NFL. He went to his dream job, whatever
Yeah,
college.
yeah.
And then now you're looking like, well, this is my dream school, but also the coach told me he had this vision, and you know, scheme is everything. So you're a star quarterback, and now they're gonna bring in, you run air raid, now they're bringing in a triple option. Hey, bro, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for me. So yes, I'm in the portal. I'm gone. In the past, I gotta sit and wait a year. And now I'm waiting a year. I go to another school where that quarterback develops. He has a great year. I'm committed there. And it's like, well, that school's not an option for me. I got to go a division down. It's so difficult for guys. I love the one-time transfer. Go anywhere. No restrictions. I love it. I absolutely love it, because my problem has always been, people will say, like I was somewhere recently and I heard somebody say, yeah, I watched the college over the NFL. And I was just like, I love the passion, but I love the fact that it's 32 teams in the NFL. Like, all these are pros. Sometimes you get, hey, bro, this is a future athletic trainer, a damn good athletic trainer, but I'm a future Hall of Famer. I'm routing this guy up. I'm doing, and it's just like, to see the amazing how much better, like, y'all are both D1 athletes, but he's at another level. That's amazing to see. But I also don't like the fact that, hey, man, college lies about, it's not about the money. It's about the passion and the love. It's about the passion and love. You wouldn't have two teams from LA playing teams in the Big Ten. You wouldn't have them in the Big Ten. You would not have that. You wouldn't have teams going everywhere. You wouldn't have like a great basketball conference like the Big East being destroyed because football bag. Like, it's about money. The NFL does not lie to you and say that it's about money. It's flat out. Deshaun Watson is about to play.
I don't understand that neither.
It's about
I
money.
understand, but the football getting all the money and they supply, filter money back down to the other programs at the schools. But yeah, that whole USC and UCLA,
it's crazy.
I can't imagine once they actually, and it's just for all sports. Football, they have the money to go back and forth, but when you get down to just like golf,
the baseball team.
Yeah,
people don't realize the baseball team. Like, and I argued with a guy that supports Texas. I was like, bro, Texas might get close to making a profit, but baseball does, the only profitable sports are major college football and basketball. Those are the only people that really profit like that. Everybody else they taking the bag and they distributing it out. That's why when we talk about Title IX, everything should be even. Football paying for everything. So why isn't the women's facilities on point like this, like it should be? Like what they do with the Final Four a couple years ago? It was atrocious. Like, bro, that's inexcusable.
That was like at a hotel.
Like, yeah, stuff like that. Stuff like that is ridiculous when you see the bag that football gets, and then the TV deal that the Big Ten got in the billions, like the biggest TV deal ever, because they got the LA market. They say they got the New York market with Rutgers, but I don't know. If you're watching Rutgers, you got to be gambling on it, because that's just not a viable team. And I'm just gonna be real with you. But it's wild, man. It's wild the way the money goes, and now we could be honest about it. You know, Bijan Robinson, he got a Lambo deal, and he got his own mustard and HEB. Like, I love it that guys are able to get a bag. Say, okay, Army said Deshaun Watson spent 11 games with the Browns make the playoffs. Nah, they're not. What they're gonna be in jeopardy of, and I'll guarantee you this is what's gonna happen. You could say, why risk Deshaun Watson the injury? You don't want him playing that long without being so rusty, because you saw in the preseason he was rusty. The other thing is the Texans have their pick, so they need to win games, so that pick ain't that good. That's going to look a bad look if we gave him $235 million guaranteed. We lost a lot of games because he was out 11 games, and then we didn't sit him, and the Texans will be set for the next 5 years with, they're going to be bad too. I would say two top 10 picks. That could catapult you with, we're going to get our quarterback if Mills isn't the guy, and we're going to get something else. Like, that would be terrible if so he's going to come back and play those last 6 games. But Jacoby Brissett, he's on the clock. This is his season to get a bag. If he were to lead them to I'll say if he leads them to 6-5, if he's 6-5, he may not go get a starting job anywhere else, but he's a quarterback. He's a backup that proved what backups are supposed to do. If you're going to have to play 4 or 5 weeks, honestly, if you're playing 5 weeks only, if you go 2-3, I'm okay with it. It's heartbreak loss. But if you go 3-2, I mean, look at Cooper Rush. He won one game, and he literally, that keeps him in contention, and everybody's saying like, hey, hey, we can keep him. We can keep him around. He can win a game. I see y'all in the chat. Y'all having conversations in the chat. I
Well,
appreciate.
well, keep staying with the Browns. So Baker Mayfield, he done moved on from the Browns. He's with the Panthers now, and I believe it was yesterday. It was yesterday or earlier this morning that there was reports because they was interviewing Mayfield, and there was reports saying that Mayfield basically within his speech or whatever, he mentions that when they play, cause they played the Browns week 1,
Week 1.
and he said that they said how he gonna, is he looking forward to this? And he basically saying, yeah, we gonna we gonna f him up, and that's bulletin board material. Now, as I'm looking at the story, he's saying he didn't say it. So I guess the
Yeah,
report saying somebody lied. I don't know, but knowing
Baker.
well, yeah, his personality, what you see, what you see, especially if you feel like he done got the short end of the stick, he will say something like that. Maybe
Man,
he's trying to backtrack it now because he like, damn, I don't want this to be
he is
bulletin
because
board, but
he
yeah,
has a fresh start. He's not trying to come off having looking bad. But Steven, I appreciate you, man. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was gonna save it for next week, but I got the Ravens winning AFC North, and I gave you a
Jesus
couple of
Christ.
reasons why. The reasons why is when you have a team that has, and I want to say they were on Bill Barnwell. He does a great list every year that teams that are gonna have less success than they had last year, and teams are going to have more. The Ravens were on there because they were decimated by injuries, and they're basically going to get a brand new secondary, which is what you need, as you saw last year, getting torched by Jamar Chase. So you need that secondary. They have the guys up front to stop the run, and I think the guy, I'm not going to take a guess at his whole name, but Owe, he was an extremely athletic prospect. He came in, he made a little noise last year. Players like him take that jump a year too. I think he makes the jump. He's more of an edge rusher for him. They were able to get Kyle Hamilton, the best safety in the draft. Pair him with the other safeties they got, the corners they got. They can be aggressive, because they get Peters back. They still have Humphrey, who was dealing with injuries. I mean, they have a secondary that's going to be able to compete with them. The running game is going to be pretty solid. They did get the best center in the draft, so they're going to be able to protect Lamar. Now, the receiving wise, it's going to be Mark Andrews, and until they show it, Rashard Bateman and
yeah,
Tylan
Bateman.
Wallace, guys like that are going to have to step up. Devin Duvernay, but I got confidence in them because Lamar Jackson, if healthy, I don't think his team is going to miss the playoffs again. Poppy, what's going on, bro?
Yo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful,
Fine.
man.
Yeah, over here listening, man. You say the Raiders or the Ravens? The
I said
Ravens,
the
right?
Ravens.
The
The
Ravens
Ravens.
in the
That
AFC North.
division got it. That division right there got a new owner.
Are you
The
talking about
Cincinnati
Burrow?
Joe Barter fan.
I think that was a fluke year, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nah,
I've been holding on to it. I'm gonna say it was a little fluky, and I'll say one thing that was a fluke about them. I mean, you play who you win, but statistically, the Titans were the worst #1 seed we've ever seen, and it was proven by them just coming out
Yeah.
and a team. They early on, they're just getting to the quarterback, and this is like, bro, you're dominating this game on the line of scrimmage. Why aren't you winning this game? The answer was, hey man, you see what you have when you have a guy that's better at quarterback than a guy that's not. And Tannehill, they couldn't get the job done. And I mean, they
yeah,
had Derrick Henry back and everything. They just couldn't get it done. And I want to say the Bengals, I think what they saw in the Chiefs, I don't think you would see Mahomes look like that again in a playoff. Like it just, I don't know. It's like they turned the switch off and the offense went away. And so I do think Burrow is better than what I thought he was going to be. I mean, I'm still a really big Justin Herbert guy, but I think he's a guy that has, quote unquote, what they call it. But I don't know if year in, year out, he's going to dominate that division just because of the way that it's a defensive division. And the Steelers are down now, but I do think eventually they, just a world-class, first-class organization, they're going to rise back up, and it's not going to be them just winning.
yeah.
I think it'll be a seesaw between the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals for probably the next 5 to 7 years.
The
I
Steelers are gonna suffer for the next 3 to 5 years at the bare minimum. Yeah, that's
unless
You're
they
not buying Kenny Pickett?
I heard good
what you
things
say.
about Pickett. Now they saying that O line is shot, so they may not put him back there too soon. So they'll
Who the Steelers
traditionally
draft?
somebody.
They draft the black guy, right?
Mm-mm.
They
They
are
draft the
Kenny
white guy from
Pickett.
Pittsburgh.
They took Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh University. The University of
They're
Pittsburgh.
gonna suffer for the next 5 to 7 years. I'm gonna ant it up a
They
little
say
bit more.
Pickett has been having he's been
Pickett
having a
That
real
Pickett
good
had a
man,
good
preseason.
camp, and they can develop receivers. Have you seen
I
George Pickens? I love love his game. I love his style. I like his get down.
I don't the competition that the man had wasn't world class competition. I don't think he's the answer, but then again, they still got to play the game. I don't see it. He
Man,
doesn't. Nah, I don't see it.
I think
Do you think he's gonna be like Big Bang? Big Bang? I don't think so.
They
Big
don't.
Bang
They
coming out of Marshall, out of Marshall, he was a monster, bro. That's what people don't
okay.
understand.
Oh no, he was at Miami. I know what you're saying. Like
Miami, yeah,
Big Ben.
bingo.
Yeah, Big Ben. You got to realize we're seeing Big Ben. You're thinking about the Big Ben that was throwing to AB, throwing to before he left Mike Wallace, and notice Juju Smith-Schuster. Notice how I
Emmanuel
just
Sanders
named off
too.
4 different guys. They develop receivers over there. So you're gonna have the receivers. You got Najee Harris in the backfield. If they
But
can
who
run
made who
block,
though? That's the question we're
if they
missing
can
over here.
if they
Who
can
made
run
who?
block, they'll be. You
Big
said who?
Bang. Big Bang made them guys. Let's
No,
go.
no, no, no,
See
no,
what
no, no. We take it back to 04. He didn't make nobody. Take it back to 04 when he was a game manager. They need Kenny Pickett, who, let's be real, I'm for not starting a guy that's early 20s or whatever, don't have that much experience. Hey, bro, Kenny Pickett is 24 years old and has started a many of games. Like I want to say, it goes back to Parcells. He had a thing and there was a chart. If they haven't started X amount of games or whatever, that's not gonna be a good pick.
that was
And
the
yeah,
old
that's
days
kind of
player.
that. I know that's the old days. That's the old days, and you can find guys now that haven't played that much, played at a lower level because the level of quarterback play is high and the game is catered towards that. But Kenny Pickett is a guy that's played a lot, and if he's even close to Mitch Trubisky, you let him
But
play, you let him learn.
you know who destroyed that mall? I mean, I'm pretty sure it was somebody before him, but Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, as soon as he got drafted, like, we're gonna put you back there, homie. And he was terrible at first. He went like what,
Yeah.
like 2-14, something like that. 3-13, I think that's why he went as a starter in 90. Was it 98?
It was
97,
98.
98. Yeah, something like that. And what happened after that? My point is, if you are first round pick, it's like in today's game, bro. You're gonna start. That's just how
Yeah,
it is. Because
that's it.
the problem is the money. It's not even about the development. I need to see if you can play now because I cannot afford to like red shirt you for 1 year because in 2 years you're gonna start asking me for $200 million contract. So I need to see it now. That's how it is, bro. And that's why
Uh,
they play. They made them play. It's all about the money. It's not about I need to see if you can play so you can justify 2-3 years down the road if you want to get the super match.
Yeah. Now, Marcus, I appreciate you putting that, man. I forgot about Santonio Holmes and that amazing catch he had in the Super Bowl and all he did. But with a team like that, they develop receivers, and they, that offensive line, they got to find a way to do that. They have to find a way to develop that and get that back. Once Marquise Pouncey left, and I want to say the guard they had from Stanford, his name escapes me. Those, because Pouncey was the center and they had the guard from Stanford, and Marcus Gilbert moved on, and Villanueva, they let him go. Their line has not been able to fully come back yet. So I can
They left
understand you
quick.
not wanting to put a guy in that line, but just get the ball out quick. You get the ball out.
I think it's the quarterback.
Go ahead.
The quarter.
Oh, my bad, players. I think it's the quarterback. I
The
think
quarterback
Pittsburgh would
for
be great with a different quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would, but the way that organization runs, I'm not gonna lie, it'll come out, but I wouldn't put it past them to say they tried to get Russell Wilson, but maybe the price tag was too high because the way they wanted to get down. Me personally, with their defense, I trade all my chips in to get a guy like him, let him start for 5 years, and then we'll find the future after that. Because finding that quarterback, I mean, everybody's not gonna get lucky and find the late round guys. And everybody, like Pittsburgh, basically took a shot to where they didn't trade capital to get him. If he works out, fine. If he doesn't, we can just package these picks, or we're going to be bad, and we won't have to package picks, and then a guy will just fall in our lap, or we have to move up a few spots. But
It's over.
Trubisky,
It's over, bro.
I think.
It's
think
over. I agree.
think this conference. We're gonna see how the Bengals, if they can repeat from last year. But I think they need to go ahead and them three teams, the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens, they need to go ahead and get their team straight. Because when the Browns come back with a Watson available for a full season,
oh my goodness,
that people don't remember how cold he was in Houston his last year.
amazing.
His best receiver was Brandon Cooks. That dude almost threw 5,000 yards, and they lost all them games. But you cannot. He had his best season as a quarterback. People do not know how good Watson can be. He just had all this stuff going on off the field. So
no, they're gonna remember.
Let him get through that. Let him get and the Browns, they gonna have another off season so they can revamp their receiving core. If they can bring Hunt back in the crew, especially they're gonna have Chubb and Hunt with Watson back there with him. Oh hell.
Yeah, and he's gonna be protected. He's gonna be protected. Can I say it again? He's gonna be protected.
They need to. Them three teams need to go ahead and get what they can get this season. So when the Browns,
Shawnee, here's the thing, Shawnee.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson picked probably the worst franchise in history of American sport.
Now you looking at the franchise though.
Yeah, they different.
You looking at franchise? Yeah, you need to look at their current roster. That current roster is set. They had a QB.
I agree with you,
Cleveland just added LeBron James, basically.
People, they don't.
I agree with you, Johnny. Listen, I seen the players look good. They just happen to be in Cleveland, bro. That's the only wrong thing.
Okay. When Mayfield
was hanging around that stadium, bro, they just ain't gonna win. It's that simple.
When Mayfield was with that team, who was the main one? Because Cleveland had a great, 2020?
Yeah,
they had a great 2020. Yeah, they had a great 20, and they barely lost against the Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
And who was then, of course, Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
Last year he had his injuries. He tried to go out there, but everybody kept saying,
I'm gonna tell
if you can replace Mayfield with that roster.
Tell you, the Cleveland Browns is the equivalent of the Clippers. Los Angeles. They would never win any.
Make that.
What? That's just the equivalent, bro.
Won't get an argument from me.
If they get Stephen Ballmer as an owner, he's willing to pay extra.
Y'all my bookies, man. What are you doing?
None of that.
My bookies, man.
Those motherfucker. They will never win, bro. It's something on the history books that would tell you that Cleveland Browns and the Clippers will never win.
But Pop, you could have said the same thing about the Bengals, though.
I'm not one to support because as y'all know, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm not one to give the Clippers much props, But what I will say is Stephen Ballmer as an owner, he thank God he's moving the Clippers out of the Lakers building. One of the smartest things he's done. But he is a respected owner. Well, I don't know if he's as respected, but I know he throws his money around.
Yeah, he got money.
Jimmy Haslam is hated amongst owner owners because of this deal that he just did. I mean, it deals with his outside business and the issue and the heat that's brung. He has just not handled things in a good way. So ownership-wise and organization, like the history of the organization we know is bad, but the ownership and stuff is bad. But, with Sashi Brown and the picks they got, they did build a team and get pieces. Like, they got it right with Myles Garrett. They got it They got it right in some places. But absolutely, like, you can make the case that simply off the fact of what the Steelers, under Tomlin, they've never had a losing season. You can say even when you give them a full offseason to have Pickett, get the line right, yeah, the Browns have more talent, but I think that the Steelers have a better head coach and a better organization. They might have a better quarterback, and that's what matters the most, because something that's been kind of ticking me off during this offseason, and it's been the closer the season gets worse, people are picking teams to win divisions off of, guys that have, maybe a quality secondary, maybe some great defensive tackles, good edge rusher. But, last time I checked, normally the teams with the best quarterback win that division. And there's a team that I won't name right now that everybody is on them to win the division. And I'm like, have you seen that guy play quarterback?
Okay, I'm gonna give you another prediction. So people that like to bet. This is the first year that Coach Mike Tomlin gonna go under 500. You can book that. Book it.
I won't take that bet because I don't know how it's gonna go. It's too many question marks. Like Cleveland has a slate of games that with their defense, which I want Myles Garrett to win defensive MVP, Arlington, Texas' own. I want him to get defensive MVP. I hope that he can lead them with him and Chubb can put them in position. And a guy that I still have a soft spot in my heart for, Amari Cooper. Hope he makes a couple of plays. I hope they can win some games. I want to say early on, as much as Baker is fired up, hey, bro, that line ain't that good in Carolina. And that guy got them tackles got to face Myles Garrett. They got to see Myles Garrett. They have to see him. And I want to say they got Denzel Ward. He's going to be matched up against DJ Moore. It's going to be a good man. I can't wait for that first Sunday. It's going to be, man. That
I
first
think you talking
Sunday
about that. The other team you talking about is the Eagles. That team,
the Eagles, they don't scare nobody.
That team also has a hellified roster, especially after the moves they made this offseason. But everybody, the biggest thing, like they say, you always, and I agree. I believe your quarterbacks, they the ones who, if I'm looking at a team, I go with the team with a better quarterback to give them that tipping scale, because them teams can be going neck to neck in the game, but who you think is going to make a play?
Yeah,
and so they looking at Jalen Hurts. You know, hey, will you be able to beat the Cowboys? Will you be able to keep up with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys? And many people now, I think the Cowboys' offense is not going to be the same as last season, but they still have the best quarterback in the division. So that's when you're gonna, So I'll go with the quarterback route too.
And what I will say is, as far as that, is what I'll say is, man, they got Gardner Johnson. That's a player I like. He's an agitator. I really like him. He's somebody that he's going to be joined with either Lamb, Gallup. He's going to be joined with somebody I can almost guarantee you this year when they play. But my thing with the Cowboys is they're realizing, I don't know if we're realizing, normally you could say as the offense goes, the team goes. Last year, take it back 12 months, it was like, man, this offense is going to be dynamite if the defense can get enough stops. Now this is a team that, if you look at it, they re-signed a punter, field position in defense. They have a guy that was second. He was second in Defensive Player of the Year, Michael Parsons, as a rookie that at times didn't know what he was doing. You got a guy in the cornerback, no matter what people say. Hey, man, the guys that vote for All-Pro and the guys that watch the game, All-Pro corner and Trayvon Diggs, a corner and Anthony Brown that had a good count. And you know what, Johnny, as a Cowboy fan, when's the last time you heard, man, I'm happy with our safety position?
Okay.
You haven't heard it. You haven't heard it. You haven't heard it since Roy Williams and Darren Woodson.
Okay, look, the Cowboys going to win that division by default because they happen to be the best.
I don't really know about default because I don't really know about default. If you look at the moves,
the reason why I say that is because the Cowboys happen to have the best quarterback in the division, and Dak Prescott is not even all of that to begin with. Dak Prescott is like a middle of the road kind of quarterback. He just know all of that.
But the players voted him top 10, and so did the executives. So we're gonna go ahead and dispel that, Poppy. That's just a personal thing that you don't like the Cap, and I understand it.
No,
the players and the executives. I want to say the players had him 9th. If you look at the NFL rankings of the top 100, they had him 9th. And
they had Dak Prescott, the 9th best
player
best
quarterback. 9th best quarterback. Now he was number 4 overall.
I find that real hard to believe.
I mean, you can go down the list.
Listen, bro. My eyes doesn't tell me he's the best 9th player in the league, bro.
Okay.
The best 9th quarterback in the league.
Well, Poppy, I'm gonna challenge you. Name me the other quarterbacks that you think are better, because I know a couple of the other ones.
Let me start out by the top. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I like the guy. What's his name? From the Chargers. Herbert,
my guy Herbert. Okay.
Joe Burrow. That's
4.
That's 5 right there.
That's 4.
4. The guy from they won the Super Bowl.
Stafford.
Talking about Matt Stafford.
Okay,
yes, he better than that.
Okay.
He better than that.
Okay.
Now, how many I got right there?
Okay, that's 5. I'll help you out. One that I think
Patrick
is better.
Mahomes,
Russell Wilson.
there. I haven't mentioned him.
Patrick Mahomes. That's 7.
Okay.
That's 7. Now this is where it gets tough.
Okay, now I'm going by divisions, man. Let me see. Oh, Josh Beckett. What's his name? No, he's not Josh. They got Josh. Is it Josh Allen?
Josh Allen. That's 8.
Okay.
That's 8. Who else
All
is on
right.
the division? We got the Dolphins in that division. We got the Bills. We got the Patriots and the Jets. There's nobody there. Um.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, throw Lamar. I ain't gonna lie. I think Lamar better than that.
Lamar. Okay. So Lamar's better. Okay. So now by that way, he's still what? Top 10. You just named
No,
9
hold on.
guys,
I'm going by division. I'm doing it from the top of my head. I'm not looking
and
at the things. So
I
I'm
know
pretty
the
sure
rest
I'm
of the
missing
quarterbacks
one or
left.
two. Hold
Okay.
on. Let me go with Tom Brady division. The Falcons, they trash. The what's his name? New Orleans, they don't got a quarterback over
Winston.
there. Winston, and what's the fourth thing on that thing? What's the fourth?
We're talking about
Carolina.
Carolina. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, they don't got nobody over there. What's the other division? Now I'm missing a division, bro. I cannot think.
Okay, in the rest of the NFC North, you got Kirk Cousins,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the Lions quarterback, which is Jared Goff, and
Jared
I want to say you have
Goff.
the Bears quarterback, that's Justin Fields. That's to the NFC. So now let's go to the NFC
I
East.
forgot. My man. They used to play for Russell Wilson.
I already said Russell Wilson. I already put him in there.
Did I say that already?
No, I put him in there. I put him in there to say Russell because I think you only got Kyler Murray left. Kyler Murray is the only other quarterback.
Oh yeah,
that's
I
in this
picked Kyler Murray
category
before
here.
I picked. Yeah,
Okay.
Kyler Murray. Bingo.
You'll pick
Going in there.
If you want to pick, my thing is this: if you want to pick him, the Dak fights get exhausting. So if you want to put him as that Kyler Murray is the 10th best, and then Dak is 11, I won't argue. I won't fight with you. I'll just say I just want to see how it plays out on the field. Now I will say this: as far as the Cowboys, his record with Tyron Smith not in the lineup is rough, and they are putting a rookie that they were going to put at guard and going to put him there at tackle. They're going to try to bring in Jason Peters or another veteran to help out. So he's going to have to, and the offense is designed that way. He's going to have to get the ball out quick, and his ankle is fully healed. He's going to have to be mobile. He is going to have to be mobile. Yeah, I appreciate you, Marcus. I feel, like I said, the NFL people think so, and so do the NFL players and executives think so. They think he's top 10. He's top 10 on both lists, not on like a homerism list, But it's like if you don't agree with it, that's cool. But my thing is, when he was healthy last season, look at that Patriots game. You don't do Bill Belichick's defenses like that. Big Josh Allen did. And you know who else did? So did Dak Prescott. In their house, just sliced them up. Absolutely sliced them up. So it's one of those deals to where he's proven it, but he has to do it again. Because people love to say, hey, he didn't beat any teams that made the playoffs. He technically got 3 wins against teams that made the playoffs, although 2 of them were against the Eagles. One of them against the Patriots that did make the playoffs. So it's one of those deals to where he has to come out and I say for the season, he has to win one of the first 2 games, which the Cowboys' offensive line is in shambles. So is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 3 interior guys missing. And I want to say, I don't know if Chris Godwin's going to play. I'm pretty sure Mike Evans and Julio Jones are going to play. But how much does Julio Jones have left? Like, I'm interested to see, as a storyline, is how much the Brady retirement story on the line, how much of, the defense, the coaching change, all the different things that's been going on with Tampa. Because to be honest, the NFC is up for grabs. It's the Rams. I think that it's the Rams, it's the Packers, it's the Bucks, and the 49ers. You put them in, but they are a question mark because they got a new quarterback. And which leads us to what you were talking about as far as Shiny, the Jimmy G deal. Like I didn't see, I guess I saw it coming, but it also meant don't nobody want you.
Yeah, it mean nobody want him, but he was able to get that contract kind of massaged out for him. But I want to address this question I see Steven asking on here about Dak being better than Lamar. No, I know Lamar is just controversial because people, hey, there's other better throwing quarterbacks out there, and however they feel like that. Do I think there are like one example I like to go with is, cause I know a lot of people like to go with Lamar. They always go back to what was that? When did he win MVP?
2 years ago, 2020.
And they always go back to that. He won MVP. I said, okay, yeah, he had a good season that one season, but what about all the other ones? So I like to compare Lamar with Josh Allen, but comparing Lamar to Dak, Nah, I can't. The thing about it is, if Dak finished strong last season, I think he would have had a chance because before last season, Dak was getting better every season.
Hmm?
But Dak's success was literally on the heels of Amari Cooper. That's when he started
Oh
experiencing
no,
it. So
you
no,
forgetting
no,
the running
no,
back too.
no. I'm talking about his success as a quarterback, his throwing success. When he had that magical season, his first year, that next season, and then the next prior to trading for Amari, Dak was he was not producing. He was struggling because
No,
him and Dez couldn't get
yeah,
they couldn't get that
they
chemistry.
could. The only time him and Dez had that chemistry, I know everybody trashes the way he got on the ball. I guess they forgot that, and that's the one thing with Dak always was he stood toe to toe against rivals in that 2017 playoff game, and it
No,
was just
16.
like no, I'm saying 16 season. It was with 2017 year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Well,
so.
we'll keep it. We'll say the 2016 divisional round playoff game, and he like leads them. He's doing his thing. I think Dez had a buck 20 and two touchdowns, and it was just like, and it was kind of like, oh, that's what we're gonna get in the future. I think Dez's body failed him, and the fact that Dak is a guy that's risk averse, and he doesn't, shout out to Chris Arnold, he always says that he's gonna not always make those tough plays. And Dez is hey, I throw it, I can get it.
Yeah,
But Dez is not gonna get butt naked wide open because he's not a route runner like that. But
Dez was his receiver for Romo.
Dez and Dez and Zeke was a pick for Romo. Like
Hmm.
they cater everything around the quarterbacks that they have, but the fact that Dez had his body failing him physically, and he was a guy that needed all the athleticism, and that's what he was based off of. That's why you got like the end of it for Dez could have been should have been a lot better, but it wasn't that. But you're right, between the Chaz Green game in Atlanta where he got sacked like 6
Oh,
times,
he got
between that
destroyed.
game and we're gonna do receiver by committee. Between those two games, it's that 17 and then the 18 receiver by committee. That really made me. That's why I know so much about Justin Herbert. I was like, I think I want that guy to be my next quarterback because Dak don't look like he's working. Dak turns it around in 18, has the great statistical season in 19, gets hurt, season tail ends, and then you have 2020 where it was just like he's throwing it. They put it all on him, but no defense, gets hurt. And then you have, you have the 21 season where he comes back. I feel like, hey, if you want to say Lamar is better because his ceiling is MVP and you don't see Dak's ceiling as MVP, I'm fine. And I don't like to tear down Lamar. But when it comes down to, hey, we got to drop back. You got to make the throws. You got to make it happen. You got to make these reads. And you're running. Matter of fact, the running game is a big part of it. But when they're trying to take it away, are you going to be able to make plays? He showed against several teams, if you blitz him, you can't blitz him. And if you load up against the run, he's going to find the open man. He's going to beat you. Only thing is, for whatever reason, they couldn't beat cover 2 last year because there was no threat of the run at the end of the season because the Cowboys were playing a running back with a bum knee with an explosive running back sitting on the bench. But that's another story. So I'll take it as far as that debate going that way. As far as Lamar, I'm not tripping. That's a guy I really like. And I know we got to get to closing remarks. So I wanted to touch on the Jimmy G thing real quick. And then we're going to get on closing remarks to wrap everything up. So like I said, I feel like 100% they couldn't trade Jimmy G. And as quiet as it's kept, they not super confident in Trey Lance. Like Colin Cowherd, who, if y'all don't know, he has different source. He has a way of getting information about the 49ers. Maybe because his daughter dated Trey Lance or dates. Not sure. Well, however his football people know, they wanted to get Trey Lance a quarterback coach and to work with his mechanics and remake it. And he's like, what is he? When the couple of games he played, he was throwing like 50-some% of his passes. And yeah, he had that great play in the preseason game. But when we seen him against a game, that was a game against the Texans. One of the worst teams in the league. That was a game. He's not a guy that's just going to elevate you. They're going to have to lean on the run game. They have to lean on that defense. And now you got Jimmy G in the locker room, and it's just like, hey, I'm here, guys. I know he's the future. I'm in the last year of my deal. You can't trade me. No trade clause. Put me in. And you're going to see that locker room become, nah, keep Trey. or keep Jimmy, and that could lead to some turmoil. It really could.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing with fire, and they're trying to. I've heard what Monty Jones said. They're trying to play for now and play for the future. You can really only do both, only do one. And if you keeping it like that, it could end up to where it's just like maybe taking a loss on the pick that you get. Maybe you got a fifth rounder from him because he was hurt. Maybe that's better than having a quarterback in that room like Dak had. Who did Dak have in the room? His rookie. Everybody's like, oh, well, no, Romo was rehabbing. Mark Sanchez.
It was
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah,
it was
Mark Sanchez
that was leading the way. If you can have a guy like that for Trey Lance, especially if he's athletic, Tyrod Taylor, but he's in New York, perfect guy to have you to be like, hey, bro, you got to do it like this. Or you got to, he knows playbooks. He's been a backup different spots. But, they should have probably got someone like that. And once they made the decision to go with Trey, they should have let him go. But you try to be like Danny Ainge and get everything for your guy, or you don't trust your guy, it could come back to haunt them. But I like Trey Lance's physical tools. I just want to see him figure it out on the field because he hasn't played that much football. He has not played that much football with the pandemic and only starting a few games last year. This is going to be basically like his rookie season.
Yeah, you kind of see the same thing over there in Green Bay with Jordan Love. It's like the teams that they so-called draft these QBs for the upcoming supposedly near future, but then they don't want to pull the trigger. I completely understand in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And with San Fran though, you thought Trey Lance was going to be at least by year. Is this year 3 or 4 for him?
No, it's year 2. It was your rookie year last year.
Oh, that's right. You almost thought that he was going to be starting within his rookie season.
Me too.
Because you always heard it was just always stuff floating out there about Jimmy G. So it looks like they'll be gonna approach that time though. So I have to go ahead and close this down.
Okay, so we had our final thoughts, man. We spoke on a lot, but I guess my main final thoughts, as I focused a lot on HBCU football, I'm gonna give a few. You do got. I'm trying to think who some of the big games. I know Ohio State, Notre Dame. That's the big one, and Notre Dame feels disrespected because they're like 17-point underdogs, and they're a top 5 team. And that speaks to the disparity in college football because Ohio State is so talented. And when Notre Dame plays a big level school, they get smacked. They do. It just happens. They beat everybody else, but they got Clemson coming back. I mean, A&M. Must-see TV is A&M versus Bama this year. All that shit that Jimbo Fisher was talking, which I supported him, but I want to see what Bama does in their house. That's gonna get ugly. I want to see how Bryce Young. I want to see how these quarterbacks look. Like the Bryce Youngs, the C.J. Strouds. I want to see how they look. I'm just glad that major college football is back. I kind of want to fast forward as a Texas fan past the Bama game because it could get ugly. It could because they playing like Louisiana Monroe. So I'm not worried about. I'm just worried about getting all the freshmen playing time and seeing how it goes. So I'm really excited for it. Hell, I'm excited for high school football. Like Allen let us down, man. They got smashed by that team from California. That team killed them.
Yeah. I'm noticing that these high-profile Texas schools. But you gotta know a lot of those schools in other states. They recruit like
they recruit at a different level.
Yeah, exactly.
And then hey, I'm gonna get the guy that's supposed to go over here to DeSoto. But speaking of DeSoto, they play a top level team. They won that Nike challenge against that team from Louisiana. They won that challenge up in Oregon, and now they're playing right here in Fort Worth at Clark Stadium. They're playing a team from Maryland this Friday, and so that's kind of crazy that they're playing. Cross-cut, they're playing against high-level teams like it's high school basketball, and it's interesting that they're doing that to match themselves up. So I'm hoping DeSoto can pull it off against the team from Maryland, and just getting into it with the high school. Shout out to Black Man, he had the youngsters. So I'm excited. Football season is here, man. So what you got, Shani?
Same thing, man. Same thing. I'm interested. I got my fantasy draft this weekend as well, so. I'm ready to get things kicked off this weekend, so this will be a nice weekend.
Before we end, man, which one you got for college, man? I need y'all take real quick.
I can't really tell you, but I just say it's somebody from SEC.
I mean, that's the safest bet, man.
I think it's. To be honest, I think Georgia, they kept Stetson Bennett and he won the national title and all. That's cool. But what is he gonna do? Now that he doesn't have that dominating of a defense, is he gonna be able to make enough plays? It's basically gonna be them and Bama, the SEC Championship Invitational.
Ohio
State. Bama's
State
gonna beat them. Bama's gonna beat Georgia in the SEC Championship. Ohio State is gonna exact some terrible revenge on Michigan, I believe. I think they're gonna catch Michigan slipping because Michigan lost, 2 high-level quality defenders. Aiden Hutchinson was the number 2 pick, and they still Jackson and Binger. I think that's his name. He has a really long last name.
From Jackson Smith and Bigma from Rockwall.
Rockwall. He is about to do numbers this season. He's gonna be up for the Biletnikoff, but I don't know, man. I do think if they can give him enough holes in the running game and Texas can win enough games, I do think that Bijan Robinson he might be on that final stage, that final 3 for the Heisman.
I've been hearing that about him for the past couple of seasons, but Texas always
I'm gonna keep pushing it.
They don't give him the ball. I don't know how you got a player that much talent and you just refuse. Man, they've been watching the Cowboys too long.
Man, I think they gonna get on the ball more because he's gonna catch it more in the passing game this year, man. But man, that's I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited for next week's show because next week we're gonna have a full, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm over here doing right now. Looking at the schedule.
We're gonna have mainly all NFL next week because we're gonna try to, give some predictions. I'm gonna go ahead and say who's gonna win MVP and stuff. So just letting you know if we, I'm trying to pick. I'm probably gonna try to pick all the division winners. I got them basically in my head, like I said, best quarterback. But I'm just gonna say it, so I'm on record. Y'all can revisit halfway through the season to let me and Shani know if our picks was trash. So go ahead, and now it's like if I pick the Cowboys, I know y'all gonna call me a homer, but I'm letting you know right now I am picking them just slightly. I know Tyron Smith is out, and that hurts, but I feel like, hey, they paying Dak them 40 M's, and this is year 7. I think he got to get it done. This year 7, year 8. Gotta get it done, so he gotta find a way, and he's good enough to know, hey, if they go empty or I'm blitzing, and I know I gotta get it out hot. That's what it is, So, that's all we got for y'all this week, man. We do apologize for the technical difficulties, but I appreciate y'all for rocking with us in the chat, man. It's great support, man. I really appreciate y'all. Appreciate the admin. So that's all we got this week. Shani, anything else, bro?
Nah, I'm good. And like you said, I'm waiting till next week so we can get to the NFL topics and make our takes. And until then, I'll see y'all boys next week.
All right, peace.